Hey guys, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks. In today's video I'm going to be playing in the WZ-111G, the tier 9 Chinese tank destroyer, but it's not going to be the focus of the video. The focus is going to be the situation that we find ourselves in, attacking in the worst possible matchup, where you would argue that the statistical strength of the players are completely unbalanced here. Now there's two kind of ways that you can react to this situation. Some people will be like the M103 in the chat there, immediately telling their team we have lost this masquerade of a game and it will be over in a max of 5 minutes. Or alternatively, you can think about what you can possibly do to work with your team and to have any chance of winning the battle. And why do you think there are players out there who have 60, 65, 70% wins? Because those are the players who can really shift these kind of games in their team's favour. And I'm not saying they're going to be able to do it every single time, but even if you can shift 1 in 4 of these games in your team's favour, then you can make a real big difference in your overall win percentage, if that's something that you're into. Or alternatively, you can just come out of it at the end of the game with a real good feeling that you were with the underdogs and you still came out on top. Hey, Batchat 15555. Luckily, he knows me and I'm on his team, so maybe we're going to be working together a little bit there. I'm glad he's not on the enemy team, otherwise he'd probably be shooting at me the entire time, right? Okay, so I'm playing in a rather slow, sluggish tier 9 Chinese tank destroyer, but it has a big old gun. The speciality of this vehicle, oh look, the M103, he just can't contain himself, can he? A waste of time. Oh, come on, buddy. How do you think that's really going to make your team want to win if you're already telling them that they're going to lose within 5 minutes and that this whole game is a waste of time? If you're really that tilt, I recommend go make yourself a sandwich. Go give your grandma a hug. Write an email to a friend or something, because I really think that you should take a break and not play this game, at least right now, and then maybe come back into it in 5-10 minutes when you've chilled out. Because what's that going to do for your team? It's just going to encourage a losing mentality, or the fact that we're already going to fail, and you're probably going to sit there, play badly, and almost try and sabotage the game just to try and feel that you were right, yeah? Anyway, back to it. Slow, sluggish Chinese tier 9 tank destroyer with a tier 10 tank destroyer gun, albeit not quite the DPM of a tier 10 tank destroyer. So what are we going to be doing here with the 111G? Well, I could go down the west, but I feel that that's just going to be too slow, and if I give the enemy a chance to dig in the southeast corner in this kind of holy trinity, this triangle over here, then they're just going to be able to defend the assault. And so in this kind of scenario, I do like to push down the east. I don't really like to do this in my low tier games, because in low tier, lots of people love to go down the west and you can really pick them up easily. Oh, T100LT, oh, there you go. That was a very well angled T100LT that we shot there. Maybe we did overmatch him. Some parts of that tank are only 40mm thick, and of course the 152mm caliber gun will be going through. So the T100 disappears. I guess what he's trying to do is extend some view range, and he pops up and he's using that tree. Okay, I'm going to remember that, T100LT. I see what you're doing, buddy. Maybe we can lock him down for a little bit longer. Is he going to come up? Oh, here he comes. Now he pulls back. He comes up again. Oh, he moved a little bit too soon and... oh, there you go. Tier 10 tank taken out with 2 shots. That's definitely going to help us out in this battle. And now, maybe we can stop getting spotted as much from the back. Surely this artillery was probably going to be pressured by that T100LT if he'd made it over the ridge. Or alternatively, you know, you just don't want to leave that 100mm Soviet gun inside the battle. So the Batchat 15555 on the enemy team seems to be pressuring me, but we put a good round into the 432 there, and the T54 on my team finishes them off. So what are our strengths right now? Our strengths are that we've got tanks here, we've got a Super Conqueror on my right, and so what I was thinking is as long as I can just hold this position, hold this ridgeline, and try and bait the enemies into a crossfire, then maybe we would still have a chance of taking this battle down. And so that is my game plan at the time. That's exactly what I'm going to be trying to do here. So the IS-7, he seems to be very interested in me, completely ignoring the Super Conqueror, and I'm just hoping that Super Conqueror is going to make use of his 10 degrees of gun depression and a fabulous just under 7 rounds a minute rate of fire with that 120mm to poke over the ridge and start to punish the back of this tier 10 Soviet heavy tank. The artillery marks the map. Very useful for me. I know what the artillery is planning. Now I bounce the IS-7 off my upper plate. He didn't fire a premium round there, so he'll definitely be having to hit the lower plate of this tank to be reliable, but we do punish him. We also lock him in place, we track him, and we hit him again. Wow, that IS-7 was so overconfident. And lots of people might be on the enemy team thinking, oh wow, I'm top tier, maybe we can push out, we always win this flank. You've got to use that opportunity, maybe lulling them into a false sense of security to really punish them. And that IS-7, wow, thank you very much for that. 1,500 damage that I dealt to him, and also the 600, 700 spotting or tracking that we're able to deal, and he is nearly out 31 hit points. He has lost all of them trying to put some more rounds into me. So again, I'm just trying to lock down this position, trying to put more guns in the game, and while we're still down by a tank, hopefully we're not going to be down by a tank for too long, as there's an E75 right in my line of fire. I didn't quite have the gun depression to feel comfortable there, but I think maybe I could have shot him in the back of the turret. Maybe a bit of a misplay there by me to take another hit from the IS-7, but now we're up to 4,500 damage. Half of the allotted time has disappeared, and thank you Batchat155, Mr. Klutzo on my team, as you do shut down the IS-7, and that allows me a little bit of an opportunity to catch a breath, a little bit of a respite, and maybe we can re-engage the IS-4 over there, who's fighting out with the Super Conqueror. Okay, so E75 locking down the northeast now. Looks like somebody's getting painty on the map here. What is that? The T100 LT. He seems to be some kind of armchair general here, telling us exactly what we need to do. And you know what? I'm all for that. If he thinks that it's time to push, and you're right, with only 4 minutes left and we've still got to kill 2/3 of the enemy team, we do have to push right now. Can we make the first step to killing 2/3 of the enemy team as the IS-4 reverses his way on back? Well, it's going to be a tricky shot. He's about to pull behind a dead tank, I believe, just towards his left. Or is it just the ridgeline? Oh, there you go. That's the Object 140 that's messing up my vision there. Okay, so the IS-4 bounces off us with a heat round, and I'm just hoping that the E50 comes from the south to be able to finish him off, but the T92 does the job. Wow, we protected those two artillery, keeping them in the game, and now they picked up a couple of kills between them. Great stuff. So now it's pretty much neck and neck. And seeing how we've just defended the southeast flank, now we can advance up the 9 and the 0 line and hopefully put some pressure up on the vehicles that are camping at the back, that are stopping my team coming from the northwest from capping. And as soon as they do manage to put pressure on the cap, that forces them to advance aggressively from the north into this position to be able to interrupt the cap circle, and then I can get cross shots on them from here. That was my plan at the time. Unfortunately, we missed the T-54, so he is still in the game, and when you've only got 3 minutes left and you're in this kind of a scenario where, you know, 2/3 of the enemy team are above average good players, and, well, not so much on your team, average and below players, but that doesn't mean that they can't still do great. Just because somebody statistically over hundreds of games might not be as strong as somebody else doesn't mean anything if they go and sit in front of each other and then they manage to land a few shells, right? That's the great balancer. And one of the key things that I would recommend that you do if you really want to kind of take your game to a whole new level is you've really got to think about how you can work with your allies to make them more effective. And so that's what I've really tried to do this game, and that's where you can turn these games around. Hopefully trying to find a shot into the 111-14, not quite able to do so, but hello T-54, I'm not missing you this time. Oh well, they took our job. The T-30 managed to shut him down before me, but you know what, I'm just rooting for the team at this point. Sure, I might be getting a little bit greedy, possibly thinking now that the game seems to have swung in our favor, oh, what more damage can I do? But you know what, maybe I'm counting my chickens a little too early here. With 2 minutes left on the game, they've still got 3 tanks, 1 protecting the cap circle, a gorilla, and also a T-10 at the back there. It could still be a bit tricky, but to be honest, no. Maybe I'm trying to make this game seem a little bit more exciting than it really was at the end. The damage has been done to the enemy team. The plays have been made, and right now I was just on cloud 9, because for me, this is one of the best feelings in World of Tanks. We've come up with a game plan. You're the underdog. Your team's at a statistical disadvantage, and you've managed to work with them, irrelevant of the naysayers on your team who wanted to give up from the beginning of the game and felt that this would be a waste of time, to get through it and to win together. And for me, you know, that's what multiplayer games are all about. And I'm not trying to sit here on my high horse and whatnot, but I just wanted to play devil's advocate in a way for all of the people who think that XVM can only be a negative impact on the game and also on player experience. For me personally, seeing the statistics of your team and the enemy team can add significance to the battle. And also it can make each matchup look different, look like a puzzle. Sometimes you're going to have the strong team, sometimes you're going to have the weak team, sometimes you're going to be top tier, sometimes you're going to be bottom tier. And it could be argued that it's how quickly you can perceive this information, react to it, and create a game plan that makes each game feel novel vehicle and not just like the same thing again and again. And it's the variety of World of Tanks that I thoroughly love and keeps me hooked. And I guess that's why I've happily played 47,000 games of this thing. So this was our first mark of excellence on this tank. I'm getting closer towards the tier 10 now, a high caliber for the 6,243 damage that we dealt. And while we had a great impact in this round, it was undoubtedly a team effort. There's no way we would have got through this without everybody doing their part. And the 111G just kept me in the game long enough by bouncing a few shells and had high enough alpha and pen to whip out the punishment against anyone who dared try and test the armor of this vehicle. And while we were using a 50% credit booster, we still made 90,000 credits profit, and when we take away the 41k, that's still 50, not too bad. So I guess what I'm really trying to highlight in this video is that it can be very easy to get angry at the tomatoes on your team. And look, I've been there, I've done that, but progressively as I've played more and more, I've tried to become at least a little bit more understanding and think of it from, you know, just the player base's perspective. And so try and look at it optimistically. You've got happy little strawberries on your team, and all they're really doing is playing the same game as you, but I presume also maybe looking for a bit of direction within it. And so why not just go for it? Be the kind of player that when you were starting out the game, you would want to have on your team. And remember that when you're the underdog, you've got nothing to lose and everything to win. So ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this video today, or maybe it was just rambling bullcrap. I don't know. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, but if you hated it, give it a thumbs down. And let me know in the comments how you react when you've got inexperienced or bad players on your team. Do you call them out for it? Do you go as far as to message them after the battle to tell them what they do wrong? And what are your best tips and tricks for staying calm and just trying to deal with it? And as always, thank you so much for watching. You've been epic, and hopefully I'll see you soon.